안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동타왕호입니다. 아, 너무 운동하기 싫습니다. 피곤하고 매가리가 없네, 매가리. 일단 스트레칭 하면서 운동할게요. 역시 운동할 때 시에는
A few years and much experimentation later, Suntory's Kakubin whiskey was born.
Flying cars and driverless trucks are already a glimpse into the future, with the promise of faster and more efficient travel.
Making a plane fly itself is easier than making a car drive itself. The mission is to free the world from traffic. The future of transportation is going to be in the air.
What will change in our buildings, in our cities, and in our lives to get us there? Tomorrow Transformed, Saturday on CNN, in partnership with Expo 2020 Dubai.
Now, more than ever, the world needs heroes. Join Anderson Cooper and Kelly Ripa for CNN Heroes, Monday on CNN.
A mask can say a lot about the person who wears it. But even more about the person who doesn't.
We didn't have technology like we do now. So the players today, the athletes today can communicate quickly and mobilize quickly. And that's what you see is daily. And I think it's fantastic. Black lives do matter. They've always mattered. And finally, people are listening. I just want the young people to be a part of it. I'm worried for them. I think they have a very heavy, they're really inheriting a heavy burden from us. I think we need to worry about climate change. I mean, there's a lot going on, but we still, as athletes, we need to use what we have available to us, our platform, to help this make this world a better place. But it's going to be difficult. There's no question. But we got to step up. Champions adjust and really step up and lead. I want the Billie Jean King Cup to inspire the future generations.
지금 이 동작에서 이 스트레칭을 하면은 와 진짜 온몸이 다 짜릿합니다. 찌릿 등 쪽에 다 완전 평소에 제 자세가 얼마나 안 좋냐가 여기서 나오죠.
And as well as the actor Steve McQueen, who wore a Monaco in the 1971 racing film Le Mans. The earliest Monaco is a reference called the 1133, and specifically Steve McQueen wore the 1133B, and the B stands for blue. So the Monaco, at least the one that McQueen wore, is a blue dial. The watch itself is very iconic, but it's also striking from a perspective of design, but also functionality.
It is time to be counted. And I'm not going to watch Trump reduce us to his own perversity, where lies are as good as truth if they get you where you want to be. He is a toxic twist, taking our focus away from where it should be. Our kids, a pandemic that may affect our kids most of all. His inaction, our inaction, we have stolen from them. School, sports, dances, college life, birthdays, graduations. Now comes Christmas. May feel more like Mistmas than Christmas for them, for so many. There are going to be way too many Tiny Tims this year. Families facing want, hunger, hopelessness is going to be a guest in too many insecure homes. And for all we do to shield our kids from often painful realities, they get it. And it cuts deep. It hurts to hear their pain, even in their letters to Santa. Listen to this kid, Jonah. He wrote, "Dear Santa, I don't want anything for Christmas. But I would like to ask you if you can do me a favor. Can you please find a cure for COVID-19 and give it to us to save the world?"
Dear Santa, I don't want anything for Christmas, but I would
Letters
like.
filled with not
That's good
toys
if
for
you
me,
can.
but for PPE, Lysol,
귀엽네요.
to help keep us safe. Can you imagine what these kids are seeing that we're not even understanding is in their head and their heart? The Postal Service, that's where I got these. They posted all the letters to the Operation Santa site.
저희
The good
집은
news is you can go there to the
불교여서
Operation Santa site
어릴
and
때
help these kids.
크리스마스에
Help
대한
make their dreams come true.
이렇게 이런 특별함이 없었습니다. 물론 산타의 존재에
What
대한
about the people who are supposed to be able to help
의심이나
most?
믿음 이런 거 전혀 없었고요.
Congress. The right sees protecting companies from potential future litigation over COVID cases
크리스마스가 얼마 안
as equal to the
남았군요.
urgency of getting these kids the help, these families the money that they need as they starve. What the hell does that say about them and us? Kids like 9-year-old Alani, they know the difference a relief check would make in their home. She writes, "Dear Santa, this year's been rough because of Corona. But I was hoping I could get some Lego sets. Because my mom said she can't get anything for me for Christmas because she's not getting paid as much, so she can't afford anything. Too much relief for the unemployed. Can't do that. Makes them not want to work. Really? You believe there's a positive incentive to exist on less than minimum wage?" Tell that to the 13-year-old girl in Texas pleading for gifts for her 3 siblings and for her parents. Writing, "This year has been tough to all of us due to COVID-19. My stepdad's the only one working, and because of COVID-19, he had to stop working full-time. Now he's working less because of COVID, and all the money he gets is for paying the rent and the bills. COVID is all over our life is a bad thing. And when anyone says that we've done enough to make our schools safe, remember the words of Savannah, this girl from Massachusetts, who included a confession and an apology. P.S. I'm sorry if I've been bad. It's really hard because of COVID-19 and online school. I'm trying to be good. Hope you understand." Nobody does seem to understand anymore. We're all making excuses. We blame the needy, we protect the greedy. Trumpers, they just Trump. He is their everything. And every day we get closer to too many being left with nothing. I wonder what these kids' pleas will mean. I wonder if they'll make any difference. So what do we know about where relief stands tonight? Especially this curiously sticky bit about balancing the interests of the employers with those who are not employed. I'm joined now by Representative Katie Porter, Democrat from California, Congresswoman. You're a mom. You still got warm blood coursing through there. You haven't been in Congress that long. It is hard to feel the hurt of these kids, and it is hard to say that better is coming their way. First of all, just what are we supposed to do with that, the fact that our kids are in this kind of place?
It's incredibly difficult to nurture and take care of your kids during this time.
Oh,
We're all
저
worried about
아주머니
keeping our kids
목걸이,
safe, and so many Americans are worried about keeping their kids
마법
fed,
능력이 있을
keeping
것만
a
같은
roof over
목걸이를
their
하고
head. This is a crisis. We have an epidemic of COVID, but we also have an epidemic of hunger, an epidemic of housing insecurity, an epidemic of unemployment. What we do not have is an epidemic of lawsuits, and Senator Mitch McConnell is the problem here. It's not Democrats, it's not even Republicans. It's coming down to one person, Mitch McConnell, who wants to give his big donors giveaways and kowtow to them instead of helping other kids.
So let me ask you a couple of is it truths. Forgive the leading nature. Is it true that McConnell is saying that the emergent circumstances of hunger and of need for checks is equaled by the needs of employers to be protected from lawsuits that may come in the future from people who get sick at work?
Yes, he's holding up COVID relief and has been holding up COVID relief for months and months, 6 months, in fact, because we do not want to give big corporations a license to kill their employees, a license to kill nursing home patients, a license to kill patients. That's what this is about.
And, it's not like we don't have workers' comp. It's not like there aren't already big legislative structures in place to help negotiate these kinds of labor versus management issues. Is it also true that McConnell is at once arguing, I have to do the liability stuff now, I won't get another chance, at the same time that he is arguing, I don't have to do relief checks now because we'll get another chance?
I think that's a disgusting argument. And to be clear, we don't have to give corporations immunity to knowingly and recklessly put workers and patients in harm's way ever. We have a legal standard that already provides protections, a legal standard that actually grew out of the deaths, the maimings that were occurring with railroad workers about 100 years ago in this country. We don't have to give corporations anything, but kids, hungry families, they can't wait one more day.
What happened between the circumstances when you guys agreed on giving checks to people, not just the unemployed, and now to justify the argument that you don't need to give checks to people who aren't unemployed, but just a check or two away from being broke? Things have only gotten worse.
Exactly. There's incredible pressure right now for us to do something, that nothing is not an acceptable substitute. So I think there's been an effort to compromise on the number. And that's a really important thing for people at home to understand. We're not fighting about this number or that number. We're fighting to make sure that corporations and employers cannot kill people and have no liability for acting recklessly. The number, we can give people some money now and some money next month. This pandemic, as you know, Chris, is far from over, and we need to be giving people enough not only to make up for what we haven't done in these past months, but we need to give them enough to go forward into spring before this vaccine will be widely available.
Can you respect any of the arguments that are being made for performing a parity exercise here between the needs of these people and the needs of the employers?
No, that's disgusting, and I want no part of it.
But it looks like people aren't going to get the checks.
Well, listen, people need money. Americans need money, but there is no reason to give corporations this kind of excuse to engage in corporate malfeasance and corporate abuse, to put workers' lives at risk, to make bets on whether how many workers will die and their employee. This is not a necessary thing. There is no epidemic of lawsuits. As I said before, there's an epidemic of hunger. There's an epidemic of COVID. There's an epidemic of housing insecurity. We need to pass those programs now. With things like unemployment insurance expiring at the end of the year, we can't afford to wait. Mitch McConnell is in the way.
But doesn't he wind up being more the mountain than he does the, anybody getting a pass around the mountain? Because even hearing it from Joe Manchin, he's saying, look, I'm not going to get the checks done for people. This is going to happen, the corporate liability waiver.
I don't think the corporate liability waiver should happen. I don't know how you can go to sleep at night and tell yourself that you had to make a trade-off between feeding children and putting workers, essential workers' lives, nursing home patients' lives at risk, literally allowing people to engage recklessly in killing people. Corporations and hospitals, they already have protection. Let me give you a fact to put this in perspective. As of today, there are more Trump-related election lawsuits in this country than there are personal injury or med malpractice cases for COVID-19. This is not a problem. Mitch McConnell, there's nothing to solve here. This is about Mitch McConnell giving his donors something that they are demanding. Big corporate donors.
What do you say to the 90% of your Republican colleagues who are in alliance with these 18 attorneys general that are going to the Supreme Court and say, overturn the results in states that we don't like?
To be honest, I know Joe Biden won the election. 50 states have certified that. I'm really focused on making sure that people are going to get this relief. I talked about, the biggest request for me these days to go do things in my community is to roll food into people's trunks. Is to call constituents back who have lost loved ones to COVID-19. This is what we need to be focusing on, and I think it's disgusting that Trump is making these frivolous lawsuits at a time when what we need to be doing is focusing on helping the American people, and he should be leading the way. He's president.
You don't
탈북평평이 마지막으로 20개만 하고 끝내겠습니다.
Political energy coming to the Supreme Court may change the outcome from the 9-0
하고
we just saw
싶지가
in
않네.
Pennsylvania.
아, 마지막 20개.
No, I don't think so. I think the American people have spoken, and we have to hold firm on this. This is our democracy. It doesn't belong to Donald Trump. It doesn't belong to Democrats or Republicans. It belongs to the people. And we voted, and the results are in, and we all have to accept that outcome, whether we like it or not.
Ordinarily, after we talk, I just wish I could match your head, but on this one, I hope I can match your confidence that this comes out the right way. They just went 9-0 on basically the same issue, but we're going to have to wait and watch on this one. This could be a moment that